The appointment of former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede as a member of the provincial legislature in KwaZulu-Natal this week raised eyebrows and disbelief among some that the African National Congress can police itself. This as the party battles to protect its image amid various investigations into some of its officials over COVID-19 related procurement tenders. Now the opposition has cast doubt in President Cyril Ramaphosa's newly established interministerial committee that's investigating corruption and fraud connected to COVID-19 procurement after several postponements of briefings before Parliament. Joining us now to discuss this is Xolani Dube, political analyst from the Xubera Institute and brand management expert Xolani Moeng. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I'm going to start with you, Xolani. It's something that is really, that boggles the mind. Sihle Zikalala, they're coming out to say that he understands the outrage. He understands that, the return of Zandile Gumede is confusing. But does he really understand?
Look, the ANC has mastered to give us a shock. And we are in a state of numbness now. And I guess when he says that as the ANC, they understand what they are doing, I believe him, because you have to understand that the ANC has got what we call twisted logic, as well as the twisted moral and ethics. And so we as society, we are no longer frowning upon or on their actions. But I think a number of people are starting to create spaces where they will start to have a negotiation amongst themselves as South Africans to say, what is the way forward? I think the ANC here has lost the plot, and the people of South Africa, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, are starting to have a conversation to say they can't be kept undermined by the ANC to this extent.
And Soli, if I can bring you into this discussion tonight, the Premier there in KwaZulu-Natal saying that he understands that they solved a problem by creating another problem. What does this really mean?
It doesn't. Only the ANC can explain this. Look, the ANC is not beginning to lose its plot now. It lost its plot long ago. And the thing is, after too many years of apparently easy elections in power, they are arrogant. I don't even think they are trying to sort out their image issues. They don't care. They really don't care. They keep saying the same things. What the Premier of KZN has just said is similar to Jacob Zuma standing up to speak against corruption.
But what message does this then send to, the South Africans and even its voters?
Well, the ANC knows that the next big elections will happen in 3 years' time. They have enough time to come up with little goodies to distribute around, because there are enough, in a country where there are high levels of poverty, and there are enough people to take the goodies and maybe vote for the ANC again. They know that they have enough time to play with that. I know that they're trying to get the next year's elections postponed to 2024. I hope that they fail to do that. And I really hope that South Africans, we can only rely on South Africans. I think, as Xolani said, we have to rely on South Africans standing up to say, enough is enough. We can't keep being lied to and being fooled like this by these people. The ANC is now living in its own cloud cuckoo. It doesn't really understand the reality. It doesn't appreciate the anger, the frustration that has spread around the country.
Xolani, do you think, as Soli says, that there will be enough goodies to go around and for people to accept? Do you think this will really water down what we are seeing?
Look, the South African politics has been designed for us. And I think, as I've been saying several times, South Africa needs to dismantle the 1994 elite, what we call it, agreement, because that elite agreement that they reached is no longer serving the interests of the South African party, is something that is now starting to be against the interests of the South Africans. And so we need not to waste time. Time here is of the essence. We need to protect the future of the next generation, and we have to do it now. And the only way is for the South African to meet and craft a way forward, because the more we discuss about these so-called unthinkable things that the ANC is doing to us, is the way of them keeping us in prison but not moving forward. I think South Africans, we need to think, to have a way forward thinking, and also that way forward thinking needs to be coupled with action because, as you know, we can't trust this ANC, unfortunately, is the party that is governing our country.
And would you then say, like some have been saying, some analysts have been saying in recent days, that it does appear that they've reached a point where they do not care anymore. Do you get that sense?
Look, you have to understand that ANC has been kind of a myth, It is an organization that was not there to serve the interests of the black people in this country or the people who were historically oppressed and dispossessed. And so their function was to serve the interest of what you call it, the minerals energy complex. And so their arrogance, their bravery of doing the most inhumane things to us is because they know that they have this shield. And this shield is the minerals energy complex, because this mineral energy complex controls the wealth and everything that is here in South Africa. The day South Africans start to say, we want to repossess our wealth and be in charge of our wealth, that's where the ANC will become very weak. But for now, the most important thing, what people need to do is to make sure that they negotiate among themselves and they make the ANC to be irrelevant so that at the end of the day, this minerals energy complex can be faced and also can be made accountable, because ANC is the wall that protects the mineral energy complex. ANC is powerless, but there are these people who are so powerful behind the ANC, of which is the mineral energy complex, your Rupert, your Oppenheimer, and your Kosev, and the others. And so the people who really oppress us more than anyone else is the mineral energy complex. ANC is just the native administrators, Abonda Bazaban. And so you know very well that the native administrators, they have nothing to do except to put their boot on our neck.
And Xoli, is there a lack in ethical leadership in the ANC?
No. We're not. Look, the solutions that South Africa needs to go forward are no longer in the ANC. You would have seen the report about 2 weeks ago when they gathered together and apparently they were pointing fingers at one another. Each time somebody tries to stand up on a moral high ground, actually nobody can still stand up on a moral high ground in the ANC. There's always somebody else who point fingers at them to say, but what about that thing? What about that thing? So there's a whole issue of whataboutism in the ANC. There is not a single person, including the president of the ANC, unfortunately, who is able to stand up and say, guys, enough, stop it. We need to work for South Africa. I totally agree with Xolani again. The solutions that South Africa seek in order to heal and to move forward are no longer in the African National Congress. The people of South Africa need to wake up and organize themselves and liberate South Africa again. South Africa has been liberated before. It can be liberated again from the African National Congress.
And Xoli, do you think that it really makes sense right now to even differentiate leaders of the ANC, because they always say that they're not all the same?
Yeah, I'm laughing. That's reasonable. No, but they may not all be the same. It doesn't matter. They say what does matter for us, the people of South Africa, are the decisions that come out of whatever meetings they have. You look at during state capture, they had 10 opportunities to remove Jacob Zuma from power because he was messing up. It is the ANC was messing up under Jacob Zuma. So you can point to 2 or 3 good people, but the fact of the matter is when they come out of that gathering together, the decisions that always come out are the ones that are not for South Africa. Even this lady in Durban today, Zandile Kumete, she stood up and said, well, the ANC comes first. There would not be South Africa without the ANC. And if I were president of the ANC, hearing somebody say things like that, I would be the first one to say stop. Actually, I would have been the first one to say, you cannot elect that person, because that person is not good for the African National Congress and it's not good for South Africa. So what is good for the ANC is no longer good for South Africa. And what is good for South Africa is no longer good for the African National Congress.
And Xolani, as a parting shot, what do you make of the interministerial committee that has been set up to investigate the allegations of corruption around COVID-19 tenders?
Look, as I'm saying, the ANC really is taking South Africans for granted. I don't think that we need to chase the mirage that the ANC keeps on unleashing to us. We have to design our way forward as South African so that our discourse is not locked on corruption, our discourse is not locked in the battles of the ANC, but our discussion henceforth must be about the future of this country, because what you are seeing, who are being arrested by these disdain actions of the ANC, whereas we have so much at stake. We have kids who need to have the bright future. We have young people here who still want to be the innovators in this world. Those are the discussions that we need to have, because the more we discuss about Mam Zandile, we are neglecting our responsibilities as South Africa, of which is to protect and nurture and guide and unleash the potential of the young people of this country.
Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen, tonight. Certainly, just putting us in the picture there of really what is at the heart of some of the decisions that we have been seeing. That's Xolani Dube there, a political analyst from the Xubera Institute, and brand management expert, Moeng.